So this will be episode 1. I think I'm going to call this series Chord Chemistry from the Ground Up. And pretty much if you follow along and you practice it, by the end you'll be able to, no matter where you are on the neck, up or down, on any set of 3 strings, you'll know where your chords are. So to demonstrate it, I'll do it in the key of A. I'll do a 1, 6, 4, 1 progression, which would mean, since I'm in the key of A is my 1 chord. And if you don't know what I mean by 1, 6, 4, 1, I'll explain it in a couple minutes. So yeah, I'll call out the numbers as I'm doing it. So A is my 1, 1. It's my 6. It's my 4. Back to my 1. Back to my 1. To my 6. To my 4. Back to my 1. My 4. So yeah, that's what you'll get out of it. So the first thing you gotta know, what a triad is. I guess that's just a good piece of vocab. It's pretty much like just a 3-note chord. So all your major chords, all your minor chords, even if you play all 6 strings, it's just, and when I say major minor, I mean like no 7th chords, no extended chords, just your basic major minor chords. Those are made up of 3 notes. So you got, if you're in the key of A, A is your 1, B is your 2, C sharp would be your 3, D would be your 4. Don't worry about like memorizing what notes are in each key yet. Just kind of know the shapes. The shape of the major scale is a good one to know. But to build your chords, if you're gonna do a major chord, I guess this isn't even really. You take the 1, the 3, and the 5 to make your 1 chord. 1, 3, 5. But since the 3 and the 5 are on the same string, if I do it that way, I'm gonna do it this way. So there's my 1, the A note. C sharp is the 3 in the key of A. A, B, C sharp. 1, 2, 3. A, B, C sharp. A, B, C sharp. That's my 3. So A, 1, C sharp, 3. E, which I'm gonna take this one up here because it's on a different string, is my 5, right? So 1, 3, 5. Those are the notes that make up an A major chord. And so yeah, you take your 1, your major 3, and your 5. There's your major chord. To make a minor chord, you just, it's made up of a 1, a flat 3, and a 5. So instead of A, C sharp, E, which is A major, A minor would be A, C, E. It's good to know too, just like kind of just a little side thing. It's really good to know like space-wise your intervals. Like know that if you go down a string and up 2 frets, that's your 5th. You know, if you go just down a string, it's your 4th. And man, am I getting sidetracked? So like also when I say a 5th, this is kind of, it's not that abstract of a concept. Like your 5th is if A is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going up a 5th means you just go up 5 notes. Going up a 4th, 1, 2, 3, 4, you go up 4 notes. I guess, yeah, you go up 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess you go up 3 notes, but like 1 plus 3 equals 4. You know, it's just, yeah, that's how it is. Going up a third would be going from 1 to 3. So yeah, your third is gonna just be up a string and down a fret. That's your major third, and your minor third is up a string, down 2 frets. This is kind of cool to know too, because you can kind of just you can do songs just like that, just using 2 strings. Like this will be a minor chord, down a string, down 2 frets, and then your majors are down a string, down 1 fret. All right, enough. Time to get back on track. So yeah, there's your major chord. 1, major third, and then the 5th. Your minor chord is 1, minor third, and a 5th. So that's what a triad is. It's just 3 notes. It's like try, 3, add, you put them together. So there's your chords, major and your minor. They're both triads because they're made of 3 notes. And that's the difference between the major and the minor. So now it's good to know your 1s, 4s, and 5s versus your 2s, 3s, and 6s. So yeah, your 1, 4, 5 versus your 2, 3, and 6. In your key, you got your we're in A, so A is my 1. Your 1 chord, which would be A. Your 4 chord, go to your 4th note. It's a D in this instance, but so your 1's a major, your 4's a major, and your 5's a major. Versus your 2, 3, and 6 are minor. So if I was to just go up the scale using these shapes, 1 would be major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, and then we'll skip 7 for now and go back to 1. 7's different. Back to 1, which is major again, right? So yeah, you got to know your 1, 4, and 5 are major. Your 2, 3, and 6 chords are minor. When I say a 1 chord, I'm talking about if I'm in that key. Say I'm in A, then A is my 1, and that would mean B is my 2, C sharp's my 3. Yeah. Also, your 1 versus your 6. This is a good one to know. Your 1 is obviously your if you're in a key. This is gonna get kind of a little abstract, but so if you're in A is your 1 chord. Your 6 chord is really important because if you say you're in A, you're also an F sharp minor. Like, it gets confusing. I really don't want to get too into this, but F sharp is the 6, and the 1 and the 6 have a really kind of good relationship. Because if you're in A and if you're in A major and you're in F sharp minor, it's the same set of notes. Really, the only difference is if you're in A major, you're kind of focusing on the 1, and if you're in F sharp minor, you're focusing on the 6. Like, that's just where you return back to the most, and it just gives whatever you're playing that feel. So yeah, that's that. This isn't even good. This is all just background stuff too right now. So yeah, this is where it starts getting kind of cool. So so yeah, on each set of strings, you got 3 shapes for major and 3 shapes for minor, and they're very similar to each other. So we're still in A, right? Here's my A non-inverted, which I'll tell you what inverted means in a second. But here's my A. I have my A, my C sharp, and my E, right? To get to my first inversion, there's going to be 3 different shapes. Here's the first one, actually. See it? Here's your 1 right there. There's your major third, and there's your 5th. I put the whole pentatonic scale around it, but just focus on this shape for right now. Boom. So then you're going to go up. You have a next shape. This will be your first inversion here. So here's my 1, major 3, and 5. To get to my first inversion, I'm going to take my 1. I'm going to move it up to my major third. Right? So now I'm on my major third. I'm going to take my major third. So, well, this is on the E string. Now on my A string, I'm going to take my major third, move it up to the 5. So it's 3 to 5. So I got now my 3rd, my 5th, and then I'm going to take my 5th from the first chord and move it up to the 1. This is my new shape. This one right here. Next episode, I'm going to just kind of go over the shapes on the E, the A, and the D string. And this is totally movable for like everything on the guitar. Whatever key you're in, it's totally movable. So say you're in A, then this would be it. Whoops. Yeah, so you got like your 1, and then there's your first inversion. But say you're in G sharp. It's the same distance, same shapes and everything. It's just you're starting in a different spot. So yeah, here we are in A. Then here's our first inversion. We moved our 1 up to our 3. We moved our 3 up to our 5. We moved our 5 up to our 1. And then we can move our 3 up to our 5. We can move our 5 up to our 1. We can move our 1 up to our 3 to give us the third shape, right? And that's this one right here. Right here. And then after your third shape, you're back to your first shape. And then your second shape again. So yeah, if you start on the your non-inverted is when your bottom note is your actual root note. Your first inversion is when the third is the root note, and your second inversion is when the fifth is the root note. So yeah, and then you can do the same thing in minor. So here's 1, 3, 5 in major. If you switch it from major to minor, remember, because they both, like an A major and an A minor, both have the same 1 and they have the same 5. The 3 is the only thing that's different. It's major third in a major, and it's a minor third in a minor. So that means that only one of these notes is going to change, and it's the third, which is this one. Just move it down to the flat third. So now I'm in A minor. Then I can move that up. I'll take my 1, move it to the minor third, which should be a C. And then remember, only one note is different from major to minor, and since this time it happens to be, the non-inverted, it was on the A string. This time it's on the E string. So it went from here's major, only one note difference on one string, and it happens to be the E string for the first inversion. And then you go to your second inversion. This is the major, and it's going to be the D string that we changed this time. It's just move your third 1 fret down. So you gotta just get those shapes kind of in your head. Just do it for one set of strings at a time. Like, I'll tell you how I was practicing it in a little bit. And I couldn't do any of this like 2 weeks ago. I mean, I knew kind of some of it, but in the past like 2 weeks, I've totally changed, gotten a lot better at it. So yeah. So just know that on each set of 3 strings, you got 3 shapes each for major and minor for your triads. Also, a little bonus tip, on the E, A, and D strings, the shapes are the exact same thing for the A, D, and G string. So here's my A major on E, A, and D strings. If I started on this A here on the A string, it's the same exact hand shape. It's all totally movable. It just starts getting different once you get to these strings, the D, G, and B, because remember, once you start involving the B string is when the shapes kind of change. But yeah, for the first 2 sets of strings, 3 fattest strings, and then the next one, it's the same shapes. So then what really makes it, what's important to do is not just learn these inversions, but know where they fit in the entire major scale. So I guess it's good to know, you probably gotta know the pentatonic up and down the neck. I should probably do a video on that soon. But the way that I talked about this too in the first chord chemistry video, the one I did, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I have this website, and I'll put, so I'll random.org. I've got, I'll post like a link to this website and just what you got to copy paste, and then you just click randomize. And it's gonna give you this list. It takes me actually like a while to go through it every day. It's like probably an hour and a half ish to get through the whole thing. But what I do is, so I'll randomize it, and first one is A minor, second inversion. Practice one set of 3 strings at a time. Well, so now that I've shown you it, I'm coming back to these. So yeah, practice one set of 3 strings at a time. So what I would do is I'd do 2 days on just the E, A, and D strings. And I mean, if you want to pause it and look at this to see where the shapes fit into the, I didn't do it for the minors, but this is where the shapes fit into the major scale. But I recommend that you kind of like figure it out. Just look at like, just think about it, where they fit onto the major scale. Just, I guess if you figure it out yourself, you'll learn it a lot better, honestly. But here's your first shape is in your minor pentatonic, or your form 1 minor pentatonic, but you're starting on the major spot. You see how it fits right there. So what I would do, actually what I've been doing now is, say my first one was A minor second. I go to my A minor second inversion, which would be right here. The easy way to find the second inversion I've found is, I know that the root note is on the middle of the shape. So right there is my A. I know where I've studied out where it lies in the whole major scale, so I try and do it with my eyes closed now. I'll just play the chord, and then maybe play, if you want to just learn the minor shape, just the A minor shape, hit the next one. Well, actually, you shouldn't be on these strings yet. My bad. But yeah, so you got... just kind of solo around it so you know where it lies in the whole scale. And then as if you know where your ones, where your majors and your minors are, just kind of hit the other chords along the way. But just doing that, it just like solidifies the map of where you are in your head. Like, just by spending time doing that, it'll just, yeah, it just solidifies it in your head where the chord is when you're in this. Like, if I know I'm in that, well, actually, for the A minor second inversion, I know I'm in the form 3 pentatonic area. Oh man, I hope I'm not getting too sidetracked here, but yeah, so that's kind of step 1 is, I guess, or that's just the background knowledge you gotta know. That's what a triad is. The difference between your what builds a major chord, what builds a minor chord. How 1, 4, 5 are major, 2, 3, 6 are minor. Your 1 and your 6 have an important relationship. 6 is the relative minor, but I didn't want to throw too many things at you at the start. Yeah. Oh, also 1 and 6, another important thing about it. Those notes, so if you know your pentatonic scale up and down the neck, all the 1s and the 6 chords lie on the pentatonic. Like, if you add the 4 chord, isn't all on the pentatonic. It's all on the major scale, but not all on the pentatonic. If you know your pentatonic, though, up and down the neck, which if you learn the shapes, just make a playlist and just jam pentatonic over it for like a couple hours. It's fun, and you'll learn it pretty good. So yeah, and I'll do a video on that too in the future. So that's the intro video. This has ended up being longer than I thought again, but yeah. So next episode, I'm gonna just kind of go over the shapes, all the shapes on the E, A, and the D string, and then the episode after that, I'll go over the ones on the A, D, and G, which are the same shapes as the E, A, and the D. It's just they're in different spots within the major scale, and then we'll do D, G, B, and then G, B, E, and then we'll throw in the 4, which that's like in my practicing, I've thrown in the 4s now. So now I'm gonna start throwing in the 5s, and then the 2s and the 3s. So yeah, it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of a lot of work, but it's I think it's good to know. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I kind of did throw a little more at you than I thought I would. But yeah, thanks guys.